Retief Goosen won the last U.S. Open played at Shinnecock Hills in 2004 with a score of just 4 under par, on a final day when nobody beat par. U.S. Open Shinnecock Hills, New York, 14–17 June. Coverage, live text and radio commentary on the BBC Sport website, BBC Radio 5 Live and Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. Traditionally the US Open is the toughest and most uncompromising major. It is also the most controversial, especially when the United States Golf Association set up their courses at the very edge of playability. The quest to win America's national title usually provides golf's harshest test, but it always attracts a world-class and eclectic field. This week's championship, staged at Shinnecock Hills, set in the opulent Hamptons of Long Island, New York, is no exception. It is a classic golf course. Firm, fast and open with a linksy feel. There are 156 starters fervently hoping the USGA do not ruin it as they did in 2004, the last time the US Open was staged there. But at the stage there is that delicious sense of anticipation that comes with every major. The world's best are about to do battle among a field of players thrilled to be part of the championship. So while world number 1 Dustin Johnson prepares to tee it up with Justin Thomas and Tiger Woods, there are plenty of other competitors with compelling backstories that bring a touch of romance to the year's second major. It includes cancer survivor Matthew Southgate and the ever-popular Andrew Johnston, who both came through qualifying at Walton Heath last week. Take the British contingent for example. Incidentally, Beef, as Johnston is more commonly known, has been paired with Daniel Berger. How the USGA love to give us a chuckle. World number 247 Paul Waring will make his debut at this year's US Open, the first pro event he has played in the United States. And then there is Merseysider Paul Waring, who had one of the most tortuous journeys into the field, emerging from what should have been a 9-man playoff for the one remaining spot at Walton Heath. Waring thought he had blown it with a poor back 9 in his second round at the 36-hole qualifier, but eventually he was among 8 hopefuls. Alexander Bjork was already at the airport thinking his chances had gone, in a sudden death shootout for Shinnecock. To be gifted another opportunity, I was obviously elated, Waring told BBC Sport. I was determined not to let that chance get away from me. Waring's birdie at the first extra hole was matched by Ryan Evans, so it suddenly became a 2-man showdown, which was settled at the 4th extra hole when Waring slotted home a decisive 6-footer. I hit a lovely putt, felt really comfortable over it, and that got me through, he said. That was the only mission of the day. It's not like a normal tournament where you are battling for every world ranking point or every Euro. Waring has been a touring professional for 11 years but has never competed in a pro event in the States. I've played in the Open a few times, but to go and actually qualify and play in the US on that stage, I'm really looking forward to it, he said. I'm looking forward to seeing what it brings, how big the challenge is. I would consider it my career highlight, to be honest. Brooks Koepka won last year's US Open with the equal lowest winning score of 16 under. I know it is going to be both a mental test and physical test, and I'm more than happy to go and embrace that challenge. It'll be my first time playing in front of American crowds, so I'm looking forward to feeling that energy and their electricity. What sort of test will Waring and the other 155 starters face on the 440-yard par 70 layout? The course is always the story at US Opens, and already the fairway widths have become an issue. This follows redesign work carried out by renowned architects Bill Coore and Ben Crenshaw, who wanted wide-open fairways to make for a strategic test of angles. But last year's Bombers' Paradise at Erin Hills, where the moon areas were as wide as runways and Brooks Koepka won at 16 under par, has prompted a rethink. Looking back, there wasn't enough of a premium on accuracy, admitted USGA Chief Executive Mike Davis. The average fairway width at Shinnecock in 2004 was 26.6 yards, the narrowest 25 yards, the widest 30 yards. The average now is 41.6 yards. On the other hand, it's substantially narrower than what Bill Coore and the club had. That's 15 yards wider, a full 50%. We felt if we didn't narrow it some, the one element the course wouldn't have was accuracy. So it will be the widest setup for a Shinnecock Hills US Open, but the key will be making sure the USGA do not lose the greens as they did 14 years ago. The 189-yard par 3 7th became a farce, with players deliberately aiming to land their tee shots in bunkers because the green was rock hard. There were 3-footers running off the putting surface, and staff needed to water the green between groups. When the US Open was last held at Shinnecock Hills in 2004, Ground staff had to water the greens in between groups because they were so hard. It was another example of the USGA going too far in their mission to mess with players' heads. Rory McIlroy believes the organizers overanalyze the way they present US Open layouts. I don't think it should be as much of an exact science to set up golf courses, the Northern Irishman said. Get the fairways sort of firm, grow the rough, put the pins in some tough locations, but fair, and let us go play. Precocious talents such as McIlroy, Thomas, Jordan Spieth and Masters winner Patrick Reed populate the top of the game, with old stagers such as Woods and Phil Mickelson still potential threats. And for the likes of Waring, there is the opportunity to embrace a new and thrilling challenge. The ingredients are there for a classic US Open. It is only now that the 2005 English amateur champion has felt ready to take on the demands of golf's toughest major. For a US Open, I always felt you needed to have your golf game in a certain place, and I never thought over the last few years that I was in a place to really compete, he admitted. Now I have a more mature head on my shoulders and feel I can get it round most golf courses these days. I'm looking forward to the challenge of it.